Hello, my name is Pat Bohse and welcome to SCAN. Today's show is one of special interest to me. It's in regards to employment opportunities for people 55 and over. And I am really pleased to have with us Roger Leahy, who is the Executive Director of SCSEP, which is part of NCOA, which means National Association Council on Aging, and we have the opportunity to bring to you some really good information in regards to employment opportunities. So welcome.
Thank you very much, Pat.
So
thank you.
Before we get talking about NCOA and all of the wonderful programs and training that you provide people 55 and over, tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been in this business.
I would say that in the particular line that I'm in right now, which is workforce development and job placement, I've probably been in this now about 25 years. And
who's counting?
Yeah, who's counting? Before that, I had a different career. And I went through that transitional stage back around 1989 to be exact. And my prior background was in corporate finance, international treasury, and cash management.
Right.
And then I got caught up in when they had downsizing, when they had various corporations buying each other out, and I found myself out of work.
So you've kind of walked in the shoes of the people that you're working with.
Exactly. And when I kind of looked around at the whole thing and I said, oh, with my background, it's going to be the easiest thing in the world to get a job. Wrong. Found out that I was like age 40 and found out real quick what age of discrimination is about and how soon it starts in life. And went through a lot of different jobs till I finally got into this particular area. So my background actually, starting with this, went back to Job Corps, which is another program run by the Department of Labor. And then I transitioned into the National Council on Aging SCSEP program after that.
So with that experience in regards to going from for-profit into the not-for-profit, or understanding that it wasn't a smooth transition as we might have thought, I can only kind of fast forward 25 years later and understand or be sensitive to people who are trying, who again were either laid off or bought out, or there were some major changes in their corporations that they thought they would be there for life,
Right.
and what they're going through. I mean, we hear people are out of work from anywhere from 1 year to 3 years now.
Yeah, not uncommon at all. And going back even over my own history in that, when you looked for a job, even up until the early 80s, it was a different job market. You didn't have the competition you have now. You don't have the technology that you're working against. Everything that was supposed to make lives less complicated has just turned around, and particularly in the job market, made it more complicated. You have 300 people on average trying out for the same job. So you have the people on the human resources side, they're sitting there, they're going through all these resumes trying to figure out who's the best candidate.
Right.
And it's a kind of a risky job on their part. They say the best shot you have, it's a 50-50 chance you may get the best candidate.
Yeah.
But, you know, it goes back that people have to realize what they have. They have to know what their talents are, transferable skills.
We're going to talk about that, because I don't think people really think about that, or in the terms that we mean it, because they say, well, I never did that, or I can't do that, and they've been really doing it under a different topic or heading for years and years and years. So before we get there, let's talk a little more now about the National Council on Aging, better known as NCOA.
NCOA.
This particular program comes from and is funded under the Department for Labor, which is a federal program.
That's correct.
And so NCOA is one of 17 organizations that have contracts with the federal government to provide services in different states and within different counties.
That's correct.
Okay.
And actually, it's part of a overall law, the Older Americans Act. So every county in the United States has a CSEP program.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so now tell us about your CSEP.
Okay, my CSEP. Okay, my CSEP right now is Monmouth County, Ocean County, and Atlanta County. We have 6 other counties, but I won't get into that. We have it under a subcontractor. So we have all 3 counties here. We work closely with the Workforce Investment Board in each county. We hold a presence in the one-stops. We're out there with various, community organizations, both as a host agency and as partners on helping people find employment. So we work pretty much hand in hand with a lot of people on this whole project.
So some of the questions, basic questions I would ask is, who's eligible for CSEP?
In order to be eligible for the program itself, it's pretty basic. You have to be over the age of 55 when you apply. You have to be a resident of the state where the CSEP program is. So in this case, you have to be a resident of New Jersey.
Okay.
Okay. And preferably of the county that we're in. We can't cross county lines if there's another program on the other side. You have to have limited income. You have to be below the federal poverty level.
So that's always a question, meaning what does that mean?
The federal poverty level, there are two views. There's the federal poverty level, which is what we go by.
Right.
And in the state of New Jersey, it's $14,587. $87.50. Okay. That's 125% of the federal poverty level, which is, I'm going to cheat again, and I'm just going to glance back. The actual federal poverty level is $11,670.
So my question is, how does anyone ever live on that, especially in New Jersey and especially in the counties that we're talking about?
If you were to look at the national statistics out there, the federal government is probably a little bit behind on recognizing what the poverty level is. In the state of New Jersey, the established poverty level that's been calculated by county, I think if you're in Monmouth County, if you're making below $29,000 a year, you are considered poverty level.
Yeah.
I lived in a town up in northern Jersey, and first thing they asked me was, are you making over $55,000 a year? And I said, at that time, no. And they said, oh, so you're low income. And it was like, really? This is like 25 years ago.
Right.
So it all depends upon where you live. But the thing is, realistically, you can't live on $11,000 and you can't live on $14,000.
I agree.
In New Jersey, you need to do something. And there's only so much other help that's out there, like with different types of programs and stuff like that. Most people are realizing that they have to get back to work.
And in most cases, people want to get back to work. What we're seeing, again, I've been with SCAN now like 2.5 wonderful years.
Right.
And what I've seen is that if people don't plan to retire, whether it's voluntary or not, that the side effect is depression, isolation, and then we see the onset of all kinds of diseases and ailments.
Right.
So it's an issue bigger than just employment. It's the whole socialization piece that makes us who we are.
I think, people identify with what they have done for a living. And if you look in the newspaper, this is probably not the best example. If you look at the obituary column, it tells you 3 things. What was the person's name? What was their age? What did they do for a living? That's how they're identified.
Yes.
Their importance in life was through their job. And then suddenly when you give that up, you give up a big piece of yourself. And they've said over the years, depression does set in because a person loses their value, their sense of self-value, self-esteem, and worth. So I think I agree with you. People, in order to be healthy and in order to enjoy it, it doesn't mean you have to work 40 hours a week and go crazy. But at that point in your life, you should really look at doing something. And if it's not work, it could be volunteer.
Right.
But you need something to occupy your time. You can't sit home.
Yep, and feel good about yourself and be with others. And I think that's what we offer here at SCAN. I mean, we offer those opportunities in our classes.
You have to put yourself in an environment, almost like where, my own personal view on it. If you haven't learned something new by the end of the day, you haven't accomplished a whole lot that day.
Okay.
So, you want to really go out there, learn as much as you can. So people have different options on this.
So let's get back to the program a little bit. Tell me how one applies. First, what does CSEP stand for?
CSEP stands for the Senior Community Service Employment Program.
Great.
Okay? And the key words in there are community service. Okay? It's not the type of community service most people think about.
Right.
But it's the type of community service that started back during the Johnson administration, where there was a partnership between the federal program and different entities at the state and county level. where people were being put back into a community service work environment. It's changed. Today it's actually a work-based training experience. We're looking, it's subsidized by the government. People are paid a stipend to be in the program. But what we're looking at is to get them out of the subsidized
piece.
part and move them into the unsubsidized area. So we're exploring a lot of opportunities out there we have for the last couple of years. And, you know, I think what happens is people don't realize how many opportunities there are out there. And, you know, there's a lot of scams out there too, because I have people ask me that all the time. For one thing, people don't realize with the technology, that's opened up a whole new area.
Mm-hmm.
There are legitimate jobs that a person could do at home if they wanted to. You just have to know who actually who's the contractor that handles this.
Right.
But we've managed to come up with some fantastic jobs that most people don't realize even exist.
And again, we're going to get to that. So let's finish about how, if I'm interested, how do I apply? Where do I call?
Okay, the telephone number for us, you can call 732-367-7111.
Okay.
Okay, that'll get you right into the main office. We'll have a full staff there, and somebody will talk you through the whole process. They'll tell you what different types of papers you need to bring in with you. They'll follow up, they'll send you a letter telling you what it is. They'll set an appointment with you. Then you come in nice and relaxed, and you just go through the process, and they'll walk you through the paperwork. Then when the paperwork is done, we have to double check it, and then depending upon the availability, then we start to bring people into the program.
And so when we talk about availability, we're not only talking about availability of jobs, but also slots that you have available.
Slots that we have, right.
Because you have X amount of funding for X amount of slots in regards to placing people.
That's correct.
And that's when it becomes tricky.
It becomes tricky. That's when it becomes, you asked me about my prior life before, and I used to deal in international treasury, where you're moving money around all the time. Same thing. You're moving slots around. So it's a game of strategy in that regard, that you have to know how many people are in, how many you're bringing in, how many are leaving to go into employment, and you've got to balance the budget. As opposed to the for-profit world, the ultimate form of treasury and cash management is actually in the nonprofit world. You can't go over that dollar amount.
Yes,
do
know that.
You have to spend it to the penny.
Yeah.
That is the biggest challenge in life. And when I worked and we developed cash management systems in the private sector, that was our goal. None of us were aware of the fact that nonprofits had actually been doing it all along.
Yeah. So I've now called your phone number.
Right.
I have provided all my paperwork. I went in for an interview. I've been approved to get a job. What does a job look like as far as how many hours? What's the rate of pay? Where do you place people?
Okay. The rate of pay right now, it's a stipend.
Yep.
So it has to be, it depends on whether the state or the local government has a higher minimum wage. Right now in New Jersey, it's $8.25, so that's what we pay. Depending upon how our budget goes and how many people we have to service, okay, we bring people in according to that scale that we have built in there, and we have to keep our eye on it. The government says that we have enough money to train, they give us enough money to train 151 people for the year.
Okay.
Except that in order to keep the contract, we have a goal of servicing 175% of what the government pays us to do, which means that we have to really bring people in and move them and get them out almost on a 6-month basis.
And when you say get out, that means help
Get
them
them a job.
find a
To
job.
get a job. That's the ultimate goal.
And so tell me, in some cases, where do you place, or what kind of agreements or MOUs, memorandum of understanding you have with not-for-profits and for-profits? What does that look like?
We're allowed to use community-based organizations, and
Such as us.
such as yourself, and we're glad that we have you as one of our training host agencies. So we can use a 501c3. We can use that.
And what that means is a not-for-profit, for those who are
Non-for-profit.
viewing us.
Okay. And then we can also use different federal agencies, state agencies, and local agencies, governmental agencies. So within that, you have a wide variety of places where you can actually have different training sites, because once you get into like county government and stuff like that, then you start to open up into different areas like the school system, you know. So we have a wide array. That's what we're allowed to use. On top of that, we try to arrange for training where possible. So like we do have some arrangements that are made out there with companies who will train and hire, particularly like in certified home health aid if somebody wants to do that, and you know, a few other different areas like that.
So what are some of the job possibilities? I mean, I know that, again, we're one of your agencies, and we're really pleased, and thank you very much for having us participate. And I do know that we've been providing a lot of technology training to our wonderful
And we appreciate that. That's great.
staff that have been assigned here, and also, you know, real life experiences. I mean, we have certain times of the year that it's a little crazy here.
Right.
But understanding our computer system, customer service is huge for us.
Right.
Again, all of our customers are our members, and so we need to help them answer their questions and provide them what they need. And so that is really very important. The other, and again, because I've been in your world, so to speak, or the not-for-profit world for 35 years, I think that there needs to be the discussion or the transition in regards to sometimes attitude. Also, the issue of technology is very big, and that the workplace isn't like it used to be.
You're right about that, and I like the fact that you brought up the word attitude. You know, because like they used to say, like, your attitude dictates your behavior. And you can't come into the work world today, no matter how much you want to go back to the old days, you cannot go back to that time. There are too many things out there that you can do wrong. So you know, a lot of this, what you said is very true. If you look at a lot of the training that the people need, the technical training is one thing. The other part of the training is going to be the customer service part. How to adapt to the workplace, how to get along with people. And that's going to be the critical part. You know, a lot of times in the program, do we have a failure rate? Do we have people who leave? Yes. And it's usually over something that, you know, not interacting the correct way with another person.
Right.
You know, you can't start an argument with people. You can't threaten people. You know, you can't do stuff. Thank God we don't have that too often. But once in a while, we still get that.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's 2014. That doesn't go anymore.
And I think the other thing, again, because we're really trying to promote good employment practices here at SCAN, and trying to help people who are either underemployed or unemployed, especially if they're 50 and over, get what they need. But we're also seeing the whole issue around resumes and resume writing, especially online, is just totally different than even when I did resumes or still do resumes or review resumes. And I think that just kind of takes people by surprise.
I think it takes them by surprise. They're not prepared for it. And the other thing, too, is they don't know what the person on the other side is expecting.
Right.
And the person on the other side is expecting one thing. I don't want to have to read down more than 1/3 of that page to know whether or not you could be of importance to my company.
Yep.
That's it. So why
Short
are you,
and sweet.
Why are you writing a 2, 3, 4-page resume? If they make it to the last page, you know, they're going to run out of the building screaming. You know, you can't do it. You have to sell yourself.
And the other thing that the challenge is, in many cases, resumes are only online nowadays. They're not paper resumes. And therefore, you have to go to a company's website to even apply, even for a part-time job within a store in a mall, because it goes to corporate. So those are ongoing challenges, and we're hoping that we can help address
Years ago,
those.
we had to attend different classes on that. You have systems out there like Resumex. They scan resumes.
Right.
You can fool a system, you know, and I used to write resumes for a living at one time too. And you can actually go in there and type something totally bizarre, highlight it, and hit it with white, the color white. And when it hits the resume machine, Resumex, it'll still read it.
So we have about a minute left.
Okay.
What I would like to say is, what would be your message to the for-profit employers in regards to the quality of the people that you have work for you and their availability?
Okay. I would say to the employers that are out there, you know, we have a group of people, and we don't throw everybody out there at the same time. We work with them individually. So we take them through the process. We measure to see how they're adjusting. We measure to see how they've picked up the skills. When we send you somebody, we're sending you the best that we have. These are people who know their stuff. They would enjoy the opportunity. And when you get them, you're getting somebody who's got a serious work ethic.
Yes.
Which is something that's very hard to find today.
Yes, and I can verify that,
Yeah.
that most people always want mature adults in that
Right.
respect because they understand that. The other issue is that you also have some perks for employers to
Right.
work with some of your placements for a month basis and see how it goes.
That's true. We can offer the employer 1 month's salary.
Okay?
We'll keep the person on our program, and we'll have a stipulation, we'll have an agreement that that person completes the training that they're required to complete in that 30-day period. The employer will hire them on the 31st day. We will pay that person's salary, whatever the salary is that the employer is going to pay them, and we'll pay their workman's comp.
So Roger, this has been fabulous. Thank you for
It's been
being
great.
on
Thank
our
you.
show, and we'll be right back.
Take it from me. Living with a chronic disease is no easy task, but I learned to better manage my health condition, and you can too. Take Control of Your Health is the chronic disease self-management program created by Stanford University. This fun, innovative course is now offered to all county residents. Diabetes, arthritis, heart disease, cancer. Take Control of Your Health gives proven strategies to manage these conditions and reclaim your life. See how nutrition, exercise, and various mind techniques can help you overcome depression, increase energy, and manage pain. You'll not only get this book when you participate, you'll also receive the guidance and support of others living with a chronic illness, just like you. Take control of your health in 6 short sessions.
Call the number on your screen to register or get further information at scannj.com. Brought to you by SCAN, Social Community Activities Network, with funding made available by the Monmouth County Office on Aging.
Welcome back. My name is Pat Bohse, and welcome to SCAN. With me right now is Andrea Tarr, the Program Director for SCAN, and we have lots of good information to share during these months, which usually are not so active, but this year they are.
I know, we don't get a summer break.
So tell us what's going on.
Well, the first thing that we want to remind everyone is that we're no longer sending out our traditional catalog, that large book that everybody is used to receiving. We've decided that in order to keep things very timely and to make it happen quickly, we're sending out what's really a piece of paper, 11 by 17, folded in quarters, and it's going to have all the class information.
And a separate registration
A
form.
separate registration form, and of course everything in there is always on the website as well. So you can always, to get more detailed information, you can go on our website at any time. And the website is always available long before everything else is. But just so people know they're not getting a catalog anymore.
And so we're going to be supplementing that, though, with 2 newsletters a year. One of the things we've talked about this is that we really need to provide more content on our signature programs.
Yes.
And so the newsletter will provide us that opportunity. So with that said, the other major piece for coming up is we will be producing the annual Monmouth County Art Show.
Yes, that's going to be something different.
Yeah,
So-
we'll be dealing with 100 artists from Monmouth County. The show will be hung in the main library in Manalapan, and then we will have all of the first place winners here. We will be housing their works of art and probably have a reception sometime during the summer months so
That'll be
that
fun.
people can come and see the fabulous talent that we have here in Monmouth County. So we're really excited about that. And what else is coming up?
Well, of course, our new fall semester begins September 8th, and that'll run through December 15th. And again, the catalog will be coming out for people. The new fall semester starts, and with the fall semester comes BOSCOV.
Our famous
Everything,
BOSCOV.
right, our famous BOSCOV. Well, it is becoming our infamous BOSCOV. So that's going to be running about mid-September. We don't have the official date at this point, and you can expect to see, it's 4 weeks, and there'll be anywhere from, 40 to 45 one-and-done programs.
And again, new benefit for all of our members.
Huge benefit for SCAN members. Every single Boscov class is free. And, you know, many of them are $5, some of them are free, but if you're a SCAN member, everything is free. You can just go to any you want. And we saw in our winter semester how amazingly successful that was.
Yes.
So I think
we're
it's going to be
excited
great.
about that.
Yeah.
And then the other new benefit we're offering to veterans, and this is a veteran from any war,
Yes.
that they're able to take any of our Wednesday computer classes free.
Yes, our Wednesday computer classes with Frank Remsky, and he's the most patient man on earth, I'm sure of that. And so veterans can take any of those classes that they like on Wednesdays.
And just share, we have a few seconds left about our special guest that we've had here at SCAN.
Yes, we're very fortunate to have had from ABC News, Michelle Charlesworth, and we're going to run a little video clip. She visited us at SCAN and did a great presentation.
And she became an honorary member of
Yes.
the TV production
Yes.
class
Very
and also
cool.
of SCAN. And she was just very engaging, and I'm just so excited that maybe she's part of the SCAN family now going forward.
We finally made the national news.
Yes, because we're nationally worthy
Yes,
of
it's
that
very fun.
information. And again, the TV production class has been instrumental in bringing all of these wonderful people to us. So
Mm-hmm.
thank you very much, and thank you for tuning in.
All right, this is why you keep your minds sharp in your later years, because there are these awesome community events, and this is a wonderful place in the Monmouth Mall in Eatontown, New Jersey, exit 105 off the Garden State Parkway. They invited me to come talk about television news, talk about our lives, how crazy they are, what we do in a given day. Phenomenal questions. This is a group called SCAN, Social Community Activities Network. The pictures there, you're seeing Charlie Burke, and you're also seeing Pat Bohse, who's the executive director of SCAN. SCAN stands for Social Community Activities Network. I am now an official member of the television production class. I got a T-shirt. It was a giant.
Look at that. You got another. Yeah, they gave you all kinds of swag.
They gave me coffee. Love you. The best questions. Sharp minds. These are people who have already lived full lives. They've done everything you can imagine. They had a million questions for me.
What did they want to know?
Phenomenal.
What did they want to know? Like, what was a question that they asked
wanted to
you?
know, our newspaper's going to die. Why do all the TV stations cover the same stories? How do you guys, how's a day? What's going on? Is this a good job to get nowadays? What's
Questions
going
we're
on with
still
Josh
asking
Elliott?
ourselves.
What's going on with Good Morning America? They wanted to know everything.
every
They
answer
were
it.
on it.
They knew the industry, huh?
They
like it.
knew. Thank you for having me.
That's cool.
That's lots of good questions there.
How to locate SCAN. SCAN is easy to locate once you find the movie theater at Monmouth Mall. As you enter the parking lot from Route 35, the theater is almost directly ahead of you. Drive towards the theater, but go up along the left side into the parking lot. As you approach the end, you will see entrance number 3 on your right. Park and enter the building here. Once inside, you will see a staircase that only goes down. After passing through the doors at the bottom, turn to your left, and SCAN is right there.